up, everyone? It's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Because as news circulates that Netflix has cancelled Megxi and Hazard's $100 million contract, they're not renewing it. It's done. It's dead in the water. This has now shed further light as to the real reason for those peace talks with King Charles. And Hazard's reaction? Oh, apparently he's pissed. Hazard's reaction to the Netflix axe is that he's angry. But why would it be angry? Well, a lot was riding on their Netflix deal being extended, as far as I'm concerned, to help with their reported dwindling finances. But as the Sun reports here, here's the headline: Meghan and Harry's Netflix deal disaster is killing their US dream. How will they fund their incredibly lavish life now? Well, in the article, the reporter writes, it raises the question of whether it will be earnings now, since Netflix axed them, that are increasingly relied upon to fund the family's expensive Hollywood lifestyle, and if so, will it be enough? And make no mistake about it, they do have an expensive Hollywood lifestyle, right? I remember there was that show that I reported on actually a couple of years ago. It was aired in France. It was called Harry and Meghan, A Royal Business. And they had some experts on, and they were saying, look, maintenance costs for Montecito Royale alone is $2 million. Then you've got, their security, which is another $1 to $2 million. Then you've got the mortgage payments on top, which is reportedly anywhere between $350,000 to $500,000 a year, right? Then on top of that, you got Megxi's clothes and her yoga, Pilates, and whatever else you want to call it. Then you've got Megxi and Hazard's kids and their private schooling, blah, 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 right? Do you know, I won't be surprised if they're spending a minimum $10 million a year on all of that, right? On all of that. So, yeah, they do have an expensive Hollywood lifestyle. And without Netflix now on board, how are they going to fund this? So the article continues with PR expert Nick Eade believing that in the future, Megxi will provide the surest revenue stream, saying, quote, Meghan is the best way of making money for the two of them. She is the breadwinner. However, of course, as we all know, marketing experts Camille Moore and Philip Miller, in now that viral YouTube video, is accusing Megxi's Ever brand of not being intelligent and not well executed, with Philip Miller accusing Megxi of trying to rinse the maximum value from her fame that came from Suits and being part of the royal family, adding, quote, her brand wasn't one built on substance, it was based on using people. Meanwhile, Hazard has two paying jobs. You've got Travelist and you've got Better Up. Now, with Travelist, we're not too sure how much is being paid there, right? But with Better Up, a couple of years ago, Better Up had to lay off a few staff, and some of those staff allegedly spoke out to the media anonymously, and they were turning around and pretty much saying the same thing about Hazard. What the hell does he do in that company? They said that he gets paid a seven-figure sum for being in Better Up, but they have no idea what he does on a day-to-day. As far as they're concerned, he does naff all. And they were like, why are you laying us off? Lay off Hazard and save our jobs instead. But it was the other way around. So we know, at least allegedly, right, that Hazard gets a seven-figure sum from Better Up. But if Better Up is laying off a shiz ton of people over the last few years, as far as I'm concerned, I think it would be reasonable to accept that even though it's still a lot of money, let's be real here, right, I'd live off of it for the rest of my life. He's probably earning into the lower millions rather than the higher. So maybe like 1 to 2 million rather than 8 to 9 million, if that makes sense. And so it must be an absolute fall from grace for Hazard to be one moment being in the royal family and not having to worry about finances at all, to now being dropped by their main financial security blanket, which was Netflix, and now having to rely on Megxi to be the breadwinner. That's got to make him pissed off. Especially when reportedly, right, they've already blown through his inheritance from Princess Diana. And reportedly, his trust fund from the Queen's mother, which was around about 8 million apparently, that's pretty much nearly gone as well, if you're to believe the reports. So he's now having to rely more and more on Megxie to be the breadwinner instead to bring in the millions. Which means if he's having to rely on Megxie more, she's got more control over the marriage, over the finances. And this is all a domino effect that started at Netflix completely axing them all together. So you can understand, after all that, Hazard's got to be angry. Got to be pissed off as far as I'm concerned. And he must have been even more pissed off to have to allegedly turn to his royal family as a result to ask for a financial handout to help with his mounting legal bills. Because here you've got, according to Taz, make sure you're following her on X. If you watch her on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to a YouTube channel. Saying, well, I think it's pretty obvious why Harry is now in discussions to play nice. It comes down to what it always has been about, money. I saw the blind gossip that the king just paid Harry's legal bill. It's believable. Throw money at a problem and hope it goes away. And I believe this is the blind item she's talking about right here. So this is from Crazy Days and Nights. Of course, guys, with it being a blind item, treat it like a pinch of salt. Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions, all that malarkey, right? In this blind item, I'm assuming they're talking about Hazard and King Charles and that alleged peace talks, meeting, whatever the frick you want to call it, right? But here is what the blind item is saying. This was released 5 days ago. Apparently, the ginger-haired one talked Dad into giving him the money because the lawyer bill has been paid. So, a lot of people are saying that when Hazard's reps met up with the King's reps, he must have known at that point that Netflix was going to drop him and Megxie. And so knowing that, his intention to meet with the King's rep wasn't to reconcile, but instead it was to ask for more money to help him. Because he was beforehand banking on his Netflix deal being renewed. And so think about it. Imagine Hazard's reaction when he's told that Netflix isn't going to renew their contract. He must have been pissed off. Even more so as it's allegedly forced him into a situation where he had to sit down with a King's rep, cap in hand, and allegedly ask for money to help him with his legal bills. Netflix axing Hazard and Megxie has put Hazard in a corner that I don't think he wants to be in at all. He has to rely on Megxie more, which means that Megxie's got more control over the marriage and over him. He's also got to rely on Megxie more when it comes to the money situation, because PR experts are saying, look, Megxie's the only chance now of them getting any big bucks coming in on a regular basis. And he must have been even more pissed off as a result to have to turn around, go back to his royal family and allegedly ask for more money to help him because he was banking on his Netflix deal being renewed, but that's not happening now. Yeah, I can imagine Hazard being pissed off. I can imagine his reaction being absolute anger at the news that Netflix is axing them. But enough about what I think. What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and of course there's going to be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Stef Alter Nerd for more misadventures of the gruesome twosome. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What do you think Hazard's reaction was to the news that Netflix has axed him and Megxie? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, those watching live, stay exactly where you are. I'm not done with you guys yet. But for those watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.